Damon, has Noah Fifita talked about next season yet?
Nope,
Oh, well, Genesis Smith has surely discussed his low EA rating, right?
not yet.
Oh, well, Brent Brennan, he answered for last season's bad result.
Haven't seen him.
Then what the hell's going on at Big 12 Media Day? It's the AZ Wildcats Podcast live from Radio Row.
Welcome in, folks, live from Radio Row in Frisco, Texas, at the Star. Not at our regular PHNX downtown studios. A little bit upgraded here. And we got our guy, Justin Spears, with us. But I am Damon Fairall. He is Kevin Thomas. This is the AZ Wildcats Podcast. And we are pumped up, fired up to be here at Big 12 Media Day. Kevin, how are things going?
Going great, to be honest with you. We got here a little late last night, a little early getting here this morning, but it's all been worth it. The players have been out. Some of the coaches have been out. Brent Yormark has spoken. The mascots, getting into it a little bit too. We got a bunch going on at Big 12 Media Day.
Justin, how's your experience been thus far?
Well, I've had Whataburger in Texas, so that's been a pretty cool experience.
One check mark.
One check mark. I still need to get the barbecue down. Once we get the barbecue in, the trip has been complete. But, man, what a beautiful setup here. This is my second media day covering the Big 12. Last year it was in Las Vegas. Kind of similar setup at Allegiant Stadium. But, man, I would say this is a better setup because of the convenience. We all love Las Vegas, right? It's a great city. But when you think about all the hotels, all the restaurants, everything that's connected to the Star here in Frisco, I think it makes it for a better media day. I love Vegas, but, man, great setup. Happy to be here in Frisco.
Yeah, I mean, you hear Brett Yormark up there talking about it when he's giving his kind of state of the conference presser that he does every season, and he feels very like he's asking the journalists in the middle of these press conferences. He's like, "Hey, what do you guys think about this? You guys like it? You like it here? You've been here before. You were at last year's. What do you feel about this is different than last year's?" Like, he's getting feedback live on air, and it's really cool, I think, to see your power conference commissioner kind of like step out of like the shoes of like a commissioner and like almost be like expecting and wanting the feedback of the people that are showing up to his event.
Yeah, I'm really glad you actually brought that up because Brett Yormark, literally 5 minutes before he took the stage, he came over to the table that I was sitting at and was like, "Hey, are you guys okay? Are you guys taken care of? Is there anything that we can do to help you guys out? We just want to make sure that you guys are okay." And that's the first time I've ever had a commissioner come up and do something like that. We dealt with the Pac-12. George Kliavkoff was a good dude, but he never did anything like that. Larry Scott, for a decade of his time as the commissioner, I mean, they called him Lavish Larry for a reason. Very snobby. You couldn't really approach him and connect with him. Brett Yormark's a different cat. So as much as we all love the Pac-12, I think Arizona being in the Big 12 with Brett Yormark as the leader is definitely a really good situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a good point. Like, you know, the difference in commissioner that we've seen here, like, it just feels like this guy has juice, right? Like, from the moment that we joined this conference, it felt like, at least to me, that, you know, like, this is an entirely different scope or landscape than we've been dealing with as Arizona fans for decades almost, because as you mentioned with the discrepancies between the past Pac-12 commissioners there, like, Yormark is just a little bit of a different cat. And he wants to, he mentioned it, he wants to be contemporary. He wants to be on the cutting edge of all the things that major conferences are doing. And that's just such a change in switch up from what we've been used to seeing. But I guess, Kevin, how are you feeling about after his state of the conference presser he gave?
So what stands out to me most about Brett Yormark is something similar as to what you guys have been talking about. That we were talking before all this with the people in the booth next to us about how they just had like a passing conversation, the man in the booth next to us and Brett Yormark, about this exact space. Yormark walked by him. He said, "Isn't this a great space?" And he was like, "Yeah, you actually used to hold media days here." And he goes, really, like, this is a beautiful space. He fawns over it, and now he's here. It's like that type of grassroots, person-to-person connection, I think really extends down the conference, right? I think
Absolutely.
there are a lot of teams in this conference that the programs are adapting that kind of family atmosphere. I know Arizona's doing it with their alumni and the people that they're bringing in. So, yeah, very down-to-earth conference and probably one of the best conferences in the nation. So,
And what's so cool about this year is that there are no newbies.
Yes.
There are no newcomers. Last year, it was kind of
Last two.
The last two, yeah, really. But I mean, especially last year with the 16-team rendition of the Big 12, I wouldn't say it was awkward, but it was like, okay, hi, I'm Justin Spears. I'm from Tucson. Nice to meet you, so-and-so from Ames, Iowa. Right now, I come back here, and I feel like this is a retreat for all of us Big 12 media guys. Like, I'm seeing familiar faces. I'm seeing a lot of people that I've seen over the last year or so. And then, for Arizona and Colorado and ASU and Utah, they're coming in year two. They are no longer the newcomers. And with that, you kind of feel like you have a better sense of how the league is going to shape up this year, because last year there was just so many unknowns. We couldn't really gauge the conference, and that's why ASU was voted to finish last. Yeah. And then they ended up winning the whole damn thing and going to the college football playoff. So I could see why they went away from the Big 12 preseason media poll, but yeah, man, what a great setup. And I'm just so happy to be a part of the Big 12 and be here at this media day.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up something that I think is interesting regarding the ASU side of things. They mentioned, someone asked the question, I forget who it was, to Brett Yormark, like, do you guys want to have that top dog in this conference? Do you want to have a team that is consistently, kind of at the forefront of the national scope, the national landscape? Or do you want to continue to keep this parity that we've seen in year one of this 16-team conference, where a team that was picked to finish last could ultimately win the entire thing? And he said, like, yeah, there is a desire to have a team that's a brand at the top, but do you think that he prefers this very parity style of conference, or do you think that he wants that top dog to kind of find its way to the forefront?
I think he's going to allow as Macho Man Randy Savage once said, allow the cream to rise to the top. Mm-hmm. And because when you're dubbed this team that's voted to finish as the best team in the conference, you have a lot of pundits, AP voters around the country that are going to think about that one team and not really think about the others. So when it comes to the college football playoff discussion, you may exclude a certain team because they were voted to finish last in the conference at the start of the season. So I think allowing the best teams to show that they are one of the better teams, not just in the conference, but in the country, I think that is definitely a smart play for the Big 12. And, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, of course, ASU is the one of the favorites. But, like, if you're just talking about four teams that you think can go to the college football playoff from the Big 12, I mean, you put ASU in that conversation. And outside of that, Iowa State, Kansas State, maybe. I mean, there's just a lot of teams that could really take that next step, or they could really take a step backwards.
Yeah, 1,000%. And one thing that me and Damon, I know, are excited to talk to the players and coaches about specifically is the lack of a preseason poll and the idea that maybe the Big 12 got away with it, got rid of it due to embarrassment for being so loud wrong last year, right? I say that in jest, but, like, I'm interested to see how the I guess lack of preseason attention for Arizona could actually help them
totally
compete in this conference, right? The lack of pressure, the lack of expectations. And I think that there are a lot of teams in this conference that we're speaking to parity there, that Arizona, as one of the teams, probably predicted if we did a preseason poll to be second last or last.
Yeah.
They could still compete with some of the best teams in this conference on a game-to-game basis. I'm not saying that by the end they're going to have same records, but if Arizona lines it up with any team in this conference because of the parity that the Big 12 has, it's going to be a competitive game.
Well, and that's what's so different about this year's media day. It's like, let's take it back to last year. Arizona in the upper half of the league. I mean, we're talking about, hey, they could win not just the Big 12, but they can be one of the teams in the college football playoff because of the 12-team format. So they had Big 12 championship and also CFP aspirations. Obviously, that went to hell real quick last year. But they came to the Big 12 Media Day not only as the newcomer, but as, a team that could really be one of the top dogs. Yeah. And so there was so much expectation, so much pressure on this Arizona team. And I think Brent Brennan did a great job of keeping the band together, right? But now with the transfer portal, and now that a year has passed, the guys who are here from last year's team, they chose to be here. They want to be here. The players that they added in the transfer portal, they want to be here because they were recruited by these guys. Where last year I felt like Brent Brennan was kind of, I wouldn't say babying these guys, but he was trying to be real careful about keeping the group together, because if you think about the public perception, he comes in, coaches these guys hard, and then a bunch of guys leave. What are fans, what are people thinking? Like, oh my gosh, what is Brent Brennan doing with this program? So he had to kind of keep everything together, and then it all crashed last year. But I think now that he's got his own guys here, he can implement really his culture. I think we'll see what this Arizona team is made of. And honestly, I think, guys, I look at this schedule, the first 6 games, 5 of them are at home. So I think Arizona can really do a nice job of collecting wins in the first half of the schedule. It's going to get pretty dicey there kind of towards the end, but 6-6, 7-5, I don't think Arizona fans are going to complain about that season.
No, I was actually just having that conversation yesterday that those are the 2 records that I think are most realistic, that I certainly would take at the end of the day if you told me, hey, man, would you take a 6-6 season? And I'd be like 100%. I do think that there is something to be said about what you're saying about it felt a little bit like Brennan was walking on eggshells to an extent.
100%.
With last year's team. Like, I just got to try to get all of these people back. Every person that doesn't come back is such a bad look for this program. Like, feels like, I'm sure from the national perspective, at least, that, that this program is falling, right? And I think you can make the argument that it truly was. But this year, you're right. Like, he gets to add his own spin on it, his own direction that he wants to bring to this program. And I think that there's an emphasis on the comfortability that comes with that. Like, when we've talked to all the guys, like at the spring showcase and whatnot, it felt very much like everybody was on the exact same page.
Yeah.
Exact same tunnel vision. Like, we have a goal in mind as a team, and that's what's important to us. And it didn't really feel as much last year. It more felt like, hey, let's pat ourselves on the back for keeping T-Mac and Noah and Jonah and like, isn't that awesome, guys? Like, this is so fun. We automatically are going to make a bowl game, right? And then this year, it feels like it's very much the opposite of like, no, we remember everything that happened last year, and we're going to do everything in our power to completely change the narrative.
And to your point, like, Brent Brennan is coming in last season as a guy that does not want to upset the apple cart. You have a successful program in place. There's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, and you don't want to come in. We talked about this preseason. He doesn't want to come in and aggressively change things and then have a year like he did last year, and then now the result is, well, Brent Brennan changed everything and they lost. You want to come in and try to have success with the T-Mac, have success with the Noah Fifita. You could argue that most of why that happened, most of why the poor result happened, is because he made the wrong hires, right?
Yeah.
You fixed that error, or made the wrong hires, I should say. Coming around, you fixed that error by making the right hires in this past offseason. Now you got Seth Dagey. You promote Danny Gonzalez. You make Joe Salavea your defensive line and probably your head defensive recruiter at this point. He makes a beast out there. Let's go for Joe Salavea.
Well, it's kind of the just the kind of worst case scenario for Brent Brennan last year. I wouldn't say worst case scenario. Worst case scenario would have been if T-Mac and everybody decided to leave.
True.
Well, would that have been? Because
at
if
least
you
he
have
buys
a bad
himself some
year
time,
after losing those guys, everyone goes, well, you lose T-Mac, you lose Noah. Duh, you're going to have a bad year. But you keep those 2 guys, and then you have 4 wins, and everyone's like, oh, wow, you had the greatest receiver in school history and one of the greatest quarterbacks in school. How do you not? So, yeah, I mean, I think you could argue that it wasn't. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't understand is one of those superstars that Brent Brennan and company was able to keep was cornerback Takario Davis.
Yeah.
And Bobo was dubbed as maybe one of the top defensive backs in the Big 12, and heck, even the country. I mean, I saw mock drafts at the start of the football season that had Takario going in the first round to the Dallas Cowboys, the facility that we're in right now. And Bobo was in the portal during the spring. So think about it. He enters the transfer portal and is still practicing with the team. And I truly feel like Brent Brennan and his staff, for like a situation like that, you can't really coach up a kid, because if you say the one wrong thing, he's like, all right, I'm out. I'm already in the portal. Now I could just go ahead and finalize the paperwork and go to another school. So I don't, Brent Brennan won't, say this publicly, and I'm just kind of, taking it from my own speculation here. But I feel like they were almost coddling these guys, almost babying them to some degree to make sure that they can keep these superstar players here. Now that's no longer the case.
And you know what I did want to bring up on this topic of player retention and Damon's empty coffee, but I last year during the exit interviews,
Professional podcast.
exactly. We're at Radio Row here. You know what I mean? They don't just let anybody do this. But last year during the exit interviews, Brent Brennan was talking about how he felt confidence that he's going to be able to keep players. And I remember, myself included, some fans kind of mocked that idea of like, oh, I'm sure you have everything handled after the year that you just had. But I got to apologize to Brent Brennan. He clearly had something in his bag that I did not know, because he was able to keep guys on this roster, pretty impact guys. And not only that, he was able to go out and get more impact guys from the portal, from high school recruiting as well. So I feel like the player acquisition and the player retention has been much better than I could have anticipated out of Brent Brennan. And I feel like even considering last year's result, you do have to take that into consideration. I feel like a lot of coaches lose the entire roster.
No doubt.
Transfer portal.
Like Noah Fifita doesn't come back.
Hello.
Noah Fifita doesn't come back. And we have a special guest here.
We do have a special guest. Should we just scoot?
Wilbur.
We have our guy Wilbur Wildcat.
Wow, Wilbur. Welcome to the pod.
One of the most well-spoken mascots in the business.
Yes.
Needed to get his thoughts over here on
this is amazing.
Big 12 Media Day.
Come on, hop. Let's get over here. Yeah. Okay.
See in the shot there?
There you go.
Okay.
Are we good, Eric?
Let's get comfortable. Yeah.
All right, let's get comfy here, Wilbur. So how we doing? It's Big 12 Media Day. Feeling great, feeling grand? All right. Now we're going to hit the hard-hitting questions. We got Wilbur for only a short amount of time.
For sure.
Starting it off hot, Wilbur. Predictions for Noah Fifita statistically next season.
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
Now I think I'm translating for him. I'm going to translate for him. That's 5,000 yards. How many touchdowns? 40 touchdowns combined.
Wow.
Biff, I don't even know. He's just racking them up. He's racking up the touchdowns.
That's a lot of numbers.
Are we talking Noah Fifita for Heisman? Noah Fifita for Heisman? Oh, he's going to do the pose.
Wow.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this is big-time stuff here from Wilbur Wildcat, fellas.
This is huge.
I mean, you don't get this type of expert analysis from any other mascot in the business.
No, you do not. Especially not Sparky. You saw how short Sparky looked out there? I mean, you could have little broed him. You could have said, here you go, little bro.
He is looking pretty small. You should give him one of these. You should give him one of those.
I feel like we need to see you play Sparky in some cornhole. Set the record straight. I know you can huck him with the best. Spears, do we have a question for you?
Yeah, I got a question for you, Wilbur. I was supposed to ask you this last year at Media Day. I got to ask you this year. Who was the creator of the Wildcat hand symbol? Was it you, or was it Willie Wildcat over there at Kansas State?
Him.
That's what I thought. You know, because it's kind of a gray area. Like the Wildcat hand symbol kind of came in around the same time. But everyone's wondering, is it Arizona or is it Kansas State? I figured it was Wilbur.
Yeah, Wilbur knows best. Wilbur Wildcat,
never trust a Wildcat that's got human arms.
Yeah,
right?
I've never heard any truer words in my life, Justin.
We got a real cat here.
Yeah, that's fur.
Yeah, this is real.
This
is real fur. We can attest.
Everybody get a little bit of a feel on that.
Heck yeah.
Oh, wow. Got a crisp lineup on you, Wilbur?
Great hairline, Wilbur.
Okay.
Great hairline.
Hey, looking good.
That's one you write home about.
You got anything else for us, Wilbur? Oh, he's taking.
He's doing the.
We're hearing that.
It is empty.
They said to get that coffee out. Wilbur's going to do the job for you.
Thank you.
Hey, Wilbur, appreciate you.
Bang.
Have a good one, man. Appreciate you, Wilbur.
Wilbur Wildcat, the GOAT mascot.
Oh,
wow.
We're doing some moving here. I got you.
He got some musical chairs going. That was a very Noah Wilbrecht move.
That was very Noah Wilbrecht.
Do we know? Is our guy Noah Wilbrecht a
mascot?
Is he?
I will say one thing. I didn't want to bring this up in front of Wilbur because it's a sensitive topic to talk.
You saw Wilma with Sparky too earlier?
Whoa!
I saw that too, and I was like,
Whoa, Justin.
Whoa!
PHNX TMZ Sports here. Justin Spears live reporting trouble in paradise.
Hey, I'm just saying, Stephon Diggs followed Wilma on Instagram earlier today.
Damn. He's going down.
So,
damn.
I was going to say
Wilma was on that boat, I heard.
Just be safe and come back and let me know if you're having a good time. Anyway, I was going to say, people usually think mascots are kind of stinky. He had some cologne on. I don't know if y'all got a whiff. I was next to him.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of this and a lot of waving.
The hardest hitting football analyst mascot in the country, and by far the best smelling mascot in the country as well.
You got a Noah Fifita Heisman prediction out of him? I don't even know how many thousands of yards, how many hundreds of touchdowns he predicted.
I mean, he was just counting numbers
I think if he
at a
kept
certain
going,
point.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. I'm not saying that Noah's going to be a Heisman candidate, but I feel like with Seth Dagey, we're going to see Noah take another step forward. I think the play calling by Dino Babers and Matt Atkins was just not a good fit for Noah last year. And even though protection may not be as
not
good
a good fit for anybody, to be fair.
That's true. For anybody, that was not a good system.
Sorry to cut you off.
But I feel like even though, protection may not be as good this year because you're losing Big Jonah, you're losing Wendell Moy, you're losing Josh Baker, you don't have Tetero McMillan on the outside. I feel like Seth Daigie's system, getting the ball out of Noah's hands quickly and getting it into the new guys in their speed. If they can get out into the open field, get a lot of yak yards after catch, then I feel like Arizona's offense is going to take a step forward. Are they going to be world beaters? No, but I feel like Seth Daigie and Noah Fifita is going to be a great fit.
I go back to when we talked to Seth Daigie for the first time when we took over this podcast, and he told us that this was a situation where he feels like he's going to mold his offense around the players that he has in his room. Right at Marshall, he's always been a little bit more of an air raid guy, air raid principles. Mike Leach guy, played quarterback under him. Had a big run game at Marshall last year in route to their conference championship in his one season there. And that's a good example of that. I feel like, to your point about losing some offensive line talent, like maybe this is a little bit more of a no huddle that they run. Maybe this is, like you said, trying to get the ball out quickly back to that air raid style because they just can't protect for a long enough period of time to really drop deep. I think that, this is the right guy to fit whatever the talent in the room is to what they want to do stylistically. And I believe in him and him Seth Daigie finding a way to, just mold this offense really around the players that he has at his disposal.
Well, and speaking of the no huddle, during the spring, Noah and some of the other guys on offense were talking like, we thought we were going fast. And then Seth Daigie was like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You guys are just barely scratching the surface. They worked on lining up to the ball. Like, they would have a team period or just a period in practice where they would go spot the ball and have the offense, have the defense run and sprint to the ball. And they would just constantly respot the ball and just work on that for 10, 15 minutes, just getting the guys to get used to that speed and that tempo. And I don't know how good Arizona's offense is going to be, but I'll tell you what, they're going to be one of the most, if not the most conditioned team in the Big 12. And that's going to pay off in the fourth quarter. They're going to wear down teams and get the defense gassed, and then that's where they're really going to make their money.
And look, should we talk about this after our first break on the AZ Wildcats podcast? Because I do have something to say about player conditioning, and we're going to get to that right after our first break here on the AZ Wildcats podcast. I want to talk about Circle K, Damon, because we're on the road. I know we flew here, but there's no better way to gas up if you are driving than Circle K. And I also, for the folks at home, if you're scared or worried for the safety of me and Damon, we are still very close, within a mile of the nearest Circle K, which is located at 3272 Parkwood Boulevard in Frisco, Texas. There are also 2 other locations nearby within 2-mile radius. So if you are anywhere in the country, especially Frisco, Texas, you can get inside of a Circle K. And if you're not inside the Inner Circle Rewards program, get on that, because right now for Inner Circle only, you can get these promotions. You can save 25 cents per gallon when you buy 3 Coca-Cola 20-ounce products. Cookies, and anyone love cookies? You like cookies? I like cookies. $1 each. $1 each for cookies. If you visit 4 times, you save 25 cents off per gallon. You can earn that once every month. A 79-cent Polar Pop and 99-cent Froster. So make sure to join the Inner Circle for free today by downloading the Circle K app for free. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Another sponsor that we're going to want to talk about here is Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. What sounds better than a staycation at Gila right about now?
Literally nothing.
Maybe get a room, maybe a pool view, like my guy Eric Ruby on Memorial Weekend. But I mean, listen, Gila casinos, like we all know, they can get a little sweaty, a little gross. Gila River Resorts and Casinos is not like that. It is in pristine shape. It's clean. It smells great. You have a great time, but it also has all those amenities that you're going to find at a Vegas casino. They got the concert venue where you can go see a show or a comedy show or something like that. They got the, fine dining options all the way down to the lower scale fast food options. And of course, they have the live table games and slots that we love. Great, biggest sports book in the state of Arizona. How about that? Little UFC events.
I miss that a lot.
It's just the place to be. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. gonna have to make our way back out there once we get back into Arizona.
I do miss it. And we were talking about strength and conditioning before the break, and I wanted to mention that Spears, I think your point about Arizona being a better conditioned team in 2025 really paying off for them. I'm not. You're, a football expert, a savant, if you will. So I feel like you're probably right in that stand of things, but I'm not here to talk about that. I want to talk about last year's lack of conditioning, lack of strength and conditioning. I know it got talked about at times, maybe a little bit too much in relation to some of the injuries, because you just have injuries in a contact sport like football.
Yeah.
But a team that is conditioned the way Arizona is being conditioned in this offseason, I feel like that has to be part of the reason why we feel so confident in this upcoming year's team, because you're not going to have and we love Jacob Manu, and I don't think this is necessarily Jacob Manu's fault, right? But you're not going to have a Jacob Manu coming in slightly overweight, slightly out of shape, coming in to start the year.
Yeah.
You have a high tempo offense and a defense that I'm sure is ready for that high tempo offense, because they're going up against it every day.
Yep.
So I think the strength and conditioning point is really smart to bring up in contrast from last year's team.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's going to pay off in the fourth quarter. When you're in a tight ball game, usually the most conditioned team is always going to come out on top. And so I feel like Seth Dagey and his ability to really implement speed, playing fast, I think it's going to pay off for Arizona. And like you said, Kevin, the fact that Arizona's defense is going up against this on a daily basis, the fastest team that this Arizona defense is going to play is in practice.
Yeah.
It's their own team. It's the offense. And I think it's also going to really help out with the injuries too. The defense last year was just so injured, and it was one of the most unluckiest situations I have ever seen from a football team. And, people are going to pin that on strength and conditioning. I mean, a lot of it was just kind of just fluke stuff. Like Jacob Manu celebrating a third down stop, and his leg gets caught on the football, and he just, injures his knee. How does that have anything to do with what's going on in the weight room, right? And Isaiah Johnson last year, who's no longer with the team, he's at North Carolina, but, I mean, he injured himself in pregame warmups. Like, it's the flukiest things that have happened. Knock on wood, I'm hoping that doesn't happen for Arizona this year. But, yeah, I think the strength and conditioning, I think the injuries and all that, I think that's going to be a much better situation.
Yeah, I mean, the offense, at least from my perspective, I felt like the offense was maybe the most underperforming side of the ball, like in major college football last year. I think they had a lot of pieces to be good. You mentioned the offensive linemen. They, of course, have a top 10 pick at receiver, a quarterback we all believe in. Like, that just did not go the way that it should have.
Yeah.
The defensive side of the football, there was talent, but like you mentioned, there was just a plethora of injuries, and they couldn't get past it. And so I'll be interested to see how this defense performs next year. I think that there's a ton of wild cards on this defense, because there's a lot of guys that we haven't really seen play a whole lot of college football on this defense. And it's going to be interesting to find out like what the Danny Gonzalez spin will be, because I don't think Arizona fans last year were too dismayed by what they saw from Dwayne Aquina and that the defensive coaching staff.
I think they were satisfied.
I think people thought that they showed a lot of heart and passion, and they tried. And it just they didn't have the pieces in large part.
They were real quick before you go, Spears, I will say the defense last year was the only unit that consistently brought a high level of effort and consistently tried to win football games. I'm not saying that other players were out there trying to lose, but I'm saying they never wavered in their confidence. They never wavered in their effort, regardless of who was suiting up or how they felt when they suited up.
So on both sides of the ball, the biggest issues for Arizona, starting with the defense, was strictly injuries. And then Dwayne Aquina is trying to kind of craft his defense. He's like, okay, I have all these injuries. I'm missing out on 3 defensive captains last year that all suffered season-ending injuries. So how do I mix and match, and how do I find the best combination? And he put Dalton Johnson into more of a linebacker safety hybrid role. Dalton Johnson ended up leading the team in tackles. I thought he was fantastic last year. But, there were some situations to where, for the first time ever, I questioned the greatest defensive backs coach of all time as a defensive play caller. They go into that game against UCF, the top rushing team in the conference, and they roll out a 30 front. I mean, RJ Harvey and UCF's rushing attack, they had their way. I mean, they were just picking apart Arizona in the run game. And that, to me, was a little questionable. I'm like, okay, you have this run-heavy team, and yet you have a pass-centric defense going up against that. But Dwayne Aquina felt like these are the best 11 guys that I'm putting out there on the field. And then offensively, I mean, we kind of talked about it with the speed. I mean, just getting out of the huddle, they were so slow.
Yeah.
Everything was
Snapping
so
the ball with 3 seconds left every time. Yeah.
Everything was so lethargic and so slow. And multiple times I can recall Arizona struggling to get 1 yard.
Oh, I think
multiple times.
Yeah, I think Dino Babers just called another bubble screen down here at Big 12 Media Day.
With 1 yard left.
Yeah, they just ran it over there at the 5.
Huge call.
It was 4th and 10. They ran it over there at the 5.
It was so frustrating to watch that last year. And I also feel like the offense didn't really utilize every single weapon they have. And one player that I'm really excited to watch in particular this year is Kean Burnett, the tight end. You know, Kean Burnett signed to Arizona as the highest rated tight end since Rob Gronkowski. And
Never heard of him?
I feel like he's never really lived up to those expectations. His one shining moment at Arizona was catching that game-sealing touchdown against Utah in Salt Lake City. But outside of that, we haven't really seen Kean Burnett.
Mm-hmm.
He's been dealing with injuries. And I also think the offensive system that he was in last year didn't really maximize his talents. Seth Doege recruited Kean Burnett to USC, so he's very familiar with Kean Burnett. Seth Doege was the tight ends coach for the Trojans back in the day. So he's very familiar with Kean Burnett. He understands the tight end position. And everything that I've been seeing from Arizona this spring, the tight ends are going to be very much involved. Maybe some 13 personnel, you know, old school North Dakota State style football where you're just kind of smash mouth running the football.
Little Caden Luke.
Little Caden Luke action as the undersized tight end. I mean, the world needs more Big Red, right? And I feel like the players that we didn't really see last year shine, I think they're going to really take a step forward. Guys like Kean Burnett, wide receiver Chris Hunter, I think is going to be a big-time playmaker for Arizona. And with Seth Doege as the offensive play caller, I think they're going to be pretty solid offensively. Are they going to be the best team in the conference? Maybe not, but sure as hell going to be a lot better than what we saw last year.
Well, you brought up some of the players that are going to make impact on next year's Arizona team. Let's talk about some of those guys because Arizona had 0 players on the preseason all-conference team, one of just 4 programs to not have a player listed, including Houston, Oklahoma State, and UCF. Which players do you pinpoint? We kind of talked about this with yesterday's appearance on the show, but which players do you pinpoint as guys that could simply get on that list at the end of the year?
Well, maybe Noah Fifita. Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. I'm just saying.
Eric, huh?
You know how many other Big 12 quarterbacks are at the Manning Passing Academy?
True.
Right.
True.
So I mean, he is.
You heard Wilbur earlier, right? I mean,
Heisman,
500,000 yards or something.
I don't know about that, but I think Noah Fifita, as far as skill set goes, his ability to pass, if he's in the right system, I think he's one of the top passers in the Big 12. But if we're talking about a kind of more realistic player, the guy who's disrespected by a video game.
Oh, my God.
Genesis Smith.
Yeah.
Genesis Smith with a 78 rating on College Football 26.
Ridiculous.
Genesis Smith was a co-Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week last year after his big-time performance against Houston. And one of the things that just impressed me the most about Genesis Smith is that it didn't matter what position he played in the secondary, whether it was free safety, strong safety filling in for Dalton Johnson for a game, or even at nickel filling in for Treydan Stukes. In the 3 different positions that he started in the secondary, he thrived every single time. He's got the ideal frame. I mean, he looks the part of a high-level safety, and he plays like one, too. I mean, we talked about it during yesterday's show. I was kind of like unofficially counting how many interceptions the defensive backs got, and Genesis Smith was number 1 by a large margin. So he's a ball hawk. He can make plays at the ball, and he's just everywhere. He can create turnovers, had a few forced fumbles last year as well. I truly feel like Genesis Smith is Arizona's best defensive player. And I think when it's all said and done, we could be looking at him as maybe an all-conference selection.
And we'll be talking to him tomorrow, right? And that's something that you and I both, Damon, are extremely interested in his opinion on is, yes, the 78 is funny to talk about, and yes, the video game is interesting to talk about.
I'm sure we care way more than he does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the heart of that question is, like, you're being underrated. right?
Yeah.
All your accomplishments last year, they're sweeping them right under the rug. You know what I mean? I wonder how that motivates him coming into this year. I wonder what his personal goals are for this upcoming year, and obviously how that relates to the team goals. But I am interested in if his personal goals have taken that leap up, even though apparently his overall has taken a down swing from last year. So.
I would be interested to see, like in an alternate reality, not that I want to live in this reality, but like if Genesis Smith, the rumors were true, and he does end up, finding a new home, right, during this offseason. He entered the portal, right? So it's like, say he finds somewhere else to go. Would the hype around Genesis Smith be otherworldly right now? Because I feel like once you have that like shiny new toy of like a new big recruit, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be, he's gonna be the best safety in the conference or whatever. But the fact that he's staying at Arizona and they had such a lackluster year last year, and just kind of the vibes, I think from a consensus standpoint, people that are maybe not closer to the program who actually think that this team could be a little bit underrated. I think the national perspective is more so like, what do we? Who cares about Arizona? So that's going to hurt a guy like Genesis Smith get any sort of recognition.
Yeah, and team success too.
Yeah,
I mean, like you said, the fact that Arizona is kind of coming into this season as the bottom feeder of the conference, and Genesis didn't really start until last year. So I feel like once Genesis earns his stripes more, then he'll definitely get some more respect around the country. But I mean, you look at the other options that were, included in the all Big 12 team. I mean, Xavier Alford from ASU, that guy's a dog, damn good player, right? And the Bud Clark as well. So you look at the guys that were named to the all Big 12 team. I have no qualms with that, but I think Genesis will surprise a lot of people and be that all conference guy.
Yeah, well, Justin, I think, you're a busy man. We'll let you get out of here. But first, ask you a couple quick, funny questions before we get you out of here. You had barbecue yet?
No. I'm going to try Hutchins barbecue, though.
Okay.
We have an intern who is from this area of Texas, and she told us the same place.
Hutchins, okay.
Yeah, so apparently it's really good.
They have a thing that's called the Texas Twinkie. It's like a jalapeno popper wrapped.
I've heard of these things.
Barbecue goodness. So I'm going to go have a Texas Twinkie at some point. And, yeah, I mean, you got to have barbecue while you're in Dallas.
Yeah.
And Whataburger. I already had Whataburger.
What was the order?
Oh, patty melt.
No doubt.
Patty melt with some fries.
You add
spicy ketchup? I don't.
Wow.
That's
my move.
He looks dumbfounded.
That's my move. I'm a patty melt man. Add jalapenos.
Dude,
lather in spicy ketchup.
You just changed my life, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's why you come on the AZ Wildcats podcast. You learn something every time.
Because I had Chili's to my In-N-Out burger.
That's what I got yesterday.
He did the same thing. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
We went to In-N-Out last night, and he's like, yeah, I got this, I got that. I'm like, you can do that? I just
find
ordered
that
the
to
burger and
be,
eat it.
by the way, did we mess up on that? We went to In-N-Out in Texas. That was our move off the plane.
Oh,
thoughts?
man.
Before we even do this,
We'll apply context.
Okay,
I'm no context thoughts right now.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, that's like having a Pepsi in Atlanta, the land of Coca-Cola.
It is
just
like
you
that.
just can't do that, man.
Kevin's gonna be like, I was just in Atlanta and I was drinking Pepsi.
That's not true. I actually
Walking
drank
down the
so much
street.
more Coca-Cola than I've ever drank in my entire life there. But, like, you can get Whataburger in Tucson, Justin.
But it tastes better in Texas.
Does it, though?
It does. Like In-N-Out in California. Every time I go to California,
Okay.
I go to the In-N-Out there.
It's prospecting, by the way, Max. Just prospecting.
Yeah.
No, I'm just glad that Free Ad Tuesday makes its way to Frisco. I mean,
Free Ad Frisco.
Free Ad Tuesday.
Free Ad Frisco.
I mean,
Free Ad
the
Frisco.
cup in the scene. I mean,
That's what they call it here.
beautiful.
I mean,
Yeah.
Wilbur tried to drink it, so that's prospecting right there.
Yeah,
Shout out to Max.
That is
Shout out to all the
prospecting.
madmen.
he's
out
having an aneurysm right now. For
It's
sure.
all good. It's
I
all
do
good.
I do love myself a little bit of Whataburger though. I will say I'm a
Yeah.
Whataburger over In-N-Out guy. It was a convenience thing for us last night. We hopped off the plane. It's still open late. It's by our hotel. We had to make some tough decisions.
I feel that, man.
Yeah, we did.
There
We
was
had
a Whataburger open and near the hotel. Just
Can
for the
I, can I also get your opinion on something else that we experienced on our way to the airport yesterday? And this is a total side note, but this is a crazy thing. Damon and I get an Uber to the airport.
Oh, nuts, dude.
We're in an Uber, and if you drive Uber, you got to accept it, and it tells you where you're going.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes into the drive, he's going the wrong way, and he goes, "You guys are going to the airport, right?" And we go, "Yeah, no, that's definitely where we're going. We're trying to catch a flight right now because we're running late, as you already know." And he keeps going the wrong way, and we're like, Damon's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, like, we're like, where the hell are we going? He stops outside of this restaurant, and he's like, hold on, I left my drink in here. I'm gonna go and get this drink. Leaves us in the car, just on the side of the road, goes into the restaurant, gets his drink, comes back out, leaves us at the airport. I've never had an experience like that in my life.
Takes
It was
the surface streets to the airport when they're running late to a flight.
Unbelievable.
Well, he took the surface streets so
get to where he dropped
so
his
that
soda
he
off
could
at.
get his drink from the place. But I'm sitting here and I'm texting.
No tip.
I texted Kevin in the more than no tip. I texted Kevin in the car. I texted Kevin in the car. I was like, bro is going legitimately the opposite direction of where we need to go right now. And like Kevin said, we were in a little bit of a rush.
Dude.
And this guy is driving opposite way downtown. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, man, I know the way to the airport. Like, this ain't it. And then he ultimately stops at a store, and it became very clear as to why we were going in that direction. And
because he stops and
Yeah.
he literally just in one sentence goes, "Yeah, I left my drink in here. I'll be right back," and then gets out the car. And then me and Damon are like,
I can't say
dumbfounded.
dude, that's how we
it's
felt. We were
insane.
Like the look in his
I thought
eyes.
it was a Black Mirror. Like I thought I was in an alternate reality where Uber drivers.
I can't say on this program the things that I uttered out loud in that moment when he got out of the car and walked into that convenience store.
Oh man, I would have been sounding like Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Oh my god, dude. I did the George Carlin stand-up 7 naughty words or whatever it is. But yeah,
shout out to Fast.
yeah, this is he that was a wild move. I've never experienced anything like that.
I needed your live reaction to that.
Like you said, I would have taken money from him. But guys, I gotta go to a meeting.
Yeah,
Get
get out of here.
Appreciate you guys.
Our guy Justin Spears, appreciate you, Justin, for taking the time with us. Tucson.com, Arizona Daily Star, Spears and Ali every weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. You know where he is. He's doing
Justin
it all.
Esports on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
He's the man.
All the plugs.
He's the man. And I feel like us two men should hit our second break.
Let's
of this
do
great
it.
Podcast
Let's do it.
Is the ad break here on the AZ Wildcats podcast. We will be right back. Well, I know that this morning we were waiting on you and Totri to get down to the apartment, or to the hotel lobby.
Waiting is doing a little bit of heavy lifting there, but
it wasn't
continue.
long. It wasn't a long wait. It was a 10-minute wait. Me and Eric are down there, groggily just sitting there, waiting for our two sweet princes to come downstairs. Me and Eric are like taking bets. And we're like, oh, who's going to come down first? How long is it going to take? We should have used Vimy because it's a first of its kind person-to-person betting app. And me and Eric could have resolved that issue because I would have said, oh, they're probably going to be on time. Eric would have said 10 minutes late. He would have been right. I would have owed Eric a little 5 spot there. But wagers can be for money like that, or they can be for free. You can bet on anything from sports, video games, Madden, 2K, all that. Fantasy, golf games, poker nights, drinking contests, who can read a book the fastest, whatever you want to bet on. Vimy is the way to go. The best part, no more chasing cash. I don't have to trust the Venmo guy, and neither should you. Vimy is that middleman for you. So download the Vimy app and play today using code PHNX. Available on the App Store and Google Play. Vimy, anyone, anything, anytime, especially in the morning when you're waiting on your co-host to come down to the hotel lobby.
Waiting on your co-host because he has to look fresh, and no better way to look fresh than with this fine branded Bills snapback that I have on. Whether it's a snapback, a beanie, a fitted, a trucker, you name it, any type of hat, Kevin, you know Brandon Bills has you covered with the absolute ultimate style out there in the business. It's a local company based out of Mesa, Arizona. They love supporting local, and you should too. They got the campus collection. We talk about it all the time. Special limited edition campus collection in Tucson at the bookstore. Beautiful stuff. Go check that out. Check out the campus collection. Check out the best Arizona athletics hats in the business at brandonbills.com. Use our promo code of BBPHNX and you'll get 15% off that first order. BBPHNX at brandonbills.com for more details.
Well, that was great having Spears on set live for the first time. I believe he mentioned to me pre-show that was the first time he's ever been on a PHNX set, period.
That's crazy. Doesn't that feel crazy?
Even before he signed on to help us with this podcast and be our aficionado on the ground. Wow, Totri has some food.
Totri making moves.
2 moves, 2 entrees. Anyway, before he, came onto this show, he was still a friend of the company, a friend of the program.
For sure. Friend of Saul Bookman.
Yeah, friend of everybody here at PHNX. So it's shocking that he has yet to grace our tablecloth here.
Yeah, you'd think that maybe I guess on set's a little bit different, I would have expected some call-ins to all of our shows here at PHNX Sports, but yeah, fired up to get Justin on, but fired up to get Wilbur Wildcat on
that was
too.
Incredible.
I mean,
Guys, I gotta
all-time
be
guess?
honest. I'm a Sun Devil guy. That's maybe the best interview I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
entire life. Like
Yeah,
it was
that was
I
special.
was dying.
Yeah.
Incredible. If you're listening on audio, you gotta go to video and check that out.
I mean,
Yeah,
the little
special.
hops he was doing, that was athlete stuff. In the chair, that was athlete stuff.
What are the all-time interviews that go along with it? I mean,
I think that stands alone. I don't think there's anything else.
I'm my mind's going to Barbara
Johnny?
Walters. Like I'm thinking, I'm going like
not even just PH and X's.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
going 60 minutes. Like
okay.
Oh.
The Kobe Shaq sit down or no, the Magic, whatever the hell, sit down that they did. The iconic one.
after
Yeah,
HIV.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
No, I think Wilbur clears. I mean, also Spears dropping the bomb of the century.
Oh
Sparky?
yeah, that was wild.
I mean,
I didn't know where to go with that.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time, but I
it
mean,
wouldn't be the first time. What do you know?
what taking pictures of Sparky and Wilma?
Well, that's not what the way he
Frolicking?
said it. That's not the way that he said
I
it.
don't know.
No, I didn't like the way that he said it.
I didn't like it
And
either.
it's one of those things where it's like, Justin, maybe off air, bro.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
I
had
mean, that's
Wilbur
like putting
on
your-
the dude. We're never gonna get Wilbur on the show again.
No, because when that gets back to Wilbur's people, that burns that bridge
Like,
forever.
Even if they're just
Damn
mad
it.
at
Trouble in
Spears, they're
Paradise?
gonna be like, who gave him the microphone? And now there's mess on our hands. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But we don't have a lot of time left on our program here today. But I did want to get some vibes out of the way because the vibes here are absolutely immaculate. Damon, we have 12,000 seats here in this arena. They are
This
empty.
is nuts, dude.
Ford Center, it's where the Dallas Cowboys do like all of their administrative stuff. So it's the home of short-sighted football decision making. So I think that
Come on, man.
having a Big 12 conference here, maybe to fix some of the decision making in the long term for the Cowboys, I think is only beneficial. But anyway,
You can see behind us, obviously, there's tons of seats all around, and it's.
I was out there running Big X the plug routes. Just
We should recreate that video while we're out here. That's good stuff. But
Burnett, don't have a bad game.
this facility is really cool, though. I will
Oh, yeah,
say.
it's
I
very
mean, I believe this is the Cowboys practice facility.
I believe so.
Yeah, and this is where the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders do their practices, and it's just kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. So
And they've got it.
It's a literal stadium.
It
yeah,
is. It is.
it is.
It's a literal stadium.
I said it's nicer than State Farm Stadium when I first popped in here, and I honestly think that might be factual. It's beautiful though. It's a great facility. Shout out to Big 12 for picking a really cool spot to do it. Really centralized location and a place that seemingly everybody is super excited about being in. It feels like Brett Yormark, as we talked about, like he very much cares about the feedback that he's being given by everybody, the regular Joe Schmoes like me and you, Kevin, and Eric back there.
Especially Eric.
Especially Eric. I won't group Totri in with them because he's a superstar.
Two entree Totri.
Yeah.
Trey Totri. To elite. Totre. Anyway, I'll work on that after the show.
I like that. That was good.
That actually was kind of fire on
Yeah.
the spot. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not going to go back. I stop while I'm ahead. But the vibes don't
Ruined
stop
it.
there, Damon. The vibes don't stop there.
No.
Brett Yormark is a man of the people.
Mhm.
And what is every good person with a heart, what do they love? Puppies. Of these beautiful puppies on the screen. They have, I think, the Humane Society of America here or something like that. You can adopt these puppies if you want to. If you're here, if you're watching, go adopt these puppies. They're very cute. They have the little footballs in there. I feel like we got a little puppy Super Bowl preview, if you will, with there. We also had the mascots out and about, and we did a photo of Brett Yormark trying to organize the mascots around and get everything sorted. There was you can go check our Twitter at PHNX_Wildcats for, the video of Brent Yormark directing traffic. Cause Damon very acutely said, like, he's got a lot of responsibilities, but wrangling mascots might be the most difficult one. They're not even supposed to speak to you. And you're supposed to tell them how to get where they need to go. And then you also got free coffee, and you have some of the most talented athletes in the conference here today. But it does not stop there. You're also debuting new jerseys, new uniforms, new helmets. We have video of every helmet in the Big 12 in 2025, and we're going to roll that here and kind of do a little bit of helmet review. And I know, before we even get to it, I will say one of my favorite helmets, purely from an underrated standpoint, Damon, was the West Virginia one. And I was talking to Totri about this. On camera, on TV, you don't see a lot of that glitter that actually is on the blue of the helmet.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful helmet when you see it in person. On TV, it just looks like a navy blue regular helmet. But in person, that thing really shines. Obviously, Arizona's helmet is beautiful.
Yeah, that thing shines in person too, I will say.
I loved the matte blue of the Kansas helmet as well. So, yeah, it's a beautiful conference. It's a beautiful game. I'm happy to be talking about it today.
Yeah, I know it's kind of sacrilegious, but like I've been a big what's the word? Like opponent I don't know why that was.
Proponent.
My mind went to proponent, and I was like the opposite of proponent, and then I
Is
couldn't think
opponent.
about it. It's
Hater.
Yes, I've been a big hater of the fork logo for a long time. The Sparky logo is a good change
It's an upgrade.
for ASU.
It is
Absolutely,
an upgrade.
it's
little trident thing they got.
yeah, no doubt. You got the Kansas logo,
like
this
the
little
Iowa
matte
State
blue.
The Iowa State one's clean. It just says Cyclones in that white text. I like that as well. So let us know in the comments
They
what your
brought
favorite helmet is.
two Iowa State ones, or is that am I misremembering?
I don't
seeing
know.
another one?
Well, that's a Big 12 one right there.
Yeah.
I like how that was randomly in the middle.
2 helmets for second place.
Anyway, you have the Houston one here. Obviously, you see the Cyclone one there as well. So overall, very happy to be here. Very happy.
I like that
Iowa.
You're right. That Iowa State one is pretty fresh.
It's clean, right?
Yeah.
It's just clean.
Ooh, that TCU helmet goes crazy.
It kind of does.
Sorry, we're at a slight delay
Yeah,
from what the audience at home is watching, but I like that TCU helmet with the chrome frog. That goes hard.
I put it in our Discord. Become a diehard today. Me and Damon are putting all our behind the scenes stuff in there for our fans in the diehard only Discord. So check and link in the description if you want to become a diehard, get exclusive content from me and Damon. I know I'm going to be posting a little clip of all our stuff we're doing here when we get back. I'm going to throw that together for just the diehards, relive the experience all in one go. So yeah, become a diehard today. But I threw that in there. The TCU mascot, I don't know if it's always looked like that or if it's a newer thing. But to me, it was like kind of cool, kind of scary looking. It's like an actual horned frog. It's very angular. There's a lot of pointy things going on. And I don't know what, I guess ever since I went to the Coca-Cola Museum, ironically, in Atlanta, Georgia, and they had this about 8-foot tall Coca-Cola polar bear that you can meet. And like, it's like a kid's thing. And you're like supposed to go want to meet this. It terrified me as a grown man, right? I can't imagine children going up and willingly meeting that mascot. Some of the mascots walking around here, I would cry if I was a child.
My favorite one is just the dude. Just a guy.
Which one, the Mountaineer or the Cowboy?
I think it's the Mountaineer. Just a guy.
We got to talk about this.
We're in a Davy Crockett.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's not like wearing like a t-shirt and shorts, but like it's just a dude. I think that's so funny.
The Oklahoma State mascot literally exposed himself.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was
that was like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. Pistol Pete.
Dude.
Pistol Pete took his mascot helmet off.
Oh, Pistol Pete. I thought you were
Dude,
talking about Maravich.
I'm getting double punched right
I
now.
think that's his name. Isn't that his name?
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about Pistol Pete Maravich, and so now I'm imagining Pistol Pete inside of the helmet. But yeah, no, he took
on the money.
There you go, Pistol Pete from Oklahoma State. He took his helmet off, and I know
mascots, bro.
Like he's like Pistol Brad now or something. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibes it was giving. He could still be Pistol Pete, but he was given some Pistol Brad.
Pistol SAE kid from Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Yes, precisely that. Damon, besides the puppies and besides the mascots and all that stuff, is there anything else you wanted to talk about today from the vibes? Maybe we should throw it forward to tomorrow. What are we looking forward to most?
Well, I did want to just shout out the free coffee again because I've been going back for seconds, thirds. I might hit fourths or fifths here on a free ad Frisco Tuesday, but no, I've just been it's cool to be in this type of environment. I've done it obviously with Super Bowl stuff, but I have never done it with college type of stuff. So I think that it's a different vibe for sure. It's a little bit more casual, a little bit more chill, but really cool environment out here in Frisco at the Star. And yeah, I'm just I'm excited about what tomorrow is going to bring, Kevin, because obviously, as I'm sure you guys know at home, or we'll find out here when I say it in 2 seconds, this is not the day that Brent Brennan and Noah Fifita and co will be talking at Big 12 Media Day. That'll be tomorrow, and of course we'll be live, hoping to get a lot of those guys on set to talk to them in person. Friends of the program.
I mean, friends of us, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because we are this program.
Genesis, I mean, I think Genesis, when he comes on, he's going to tie Reggie Geary.
Do we have him fight, or do we just have Reggie come on again so that we have to have Genesis on again, and we just have this cycle of having Reggie and Genesis on consistently?
Because that'll make it 3 apiece appearances for both of them, and we gave Reggie Geary his crown when we had him on last time, but I don't know, man. That's something that we're gonna have to monitor for sure.
Yeah.
All-time guest rankings.
Also, I want to give
who's the PHNX Sun Devils all-time guest guy? Ralph.
We only have 6 minutes left, so we have so many that can go in there. I don't want to list them all off.
But it's
All right,
Ralph
it's
Amston.
It's Ralph. Ralph is like the ultimate pitch hitter.
For sure.
He just steps in
because he
whenever
knows
needed.
ball. Yeah, so
Dude,
he's
I
gonna
told
pop
him,
on and
I'm
hang
like,
out.
You might be the best ball knower around, and he told me I need to meet more people. Which is that's what somebody who knows ball would say. Like they'll never take the compliment,
True.
but it's 100%.
That's so true. I mean,
That
just
is-
a humble goat. We love a humble goat.
The
And
comedic stylings of my roommate, Eric Ruby.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's
Can we
the
talk
kind
about that for a second?
The
Yeah, I was gonna
roommate.
do
This guy, I love this guy.
what I
Kevin.
do.
We get in at like 1 a.m. and he's like, "You can shower first. I got to take care of something." I'm like, "What do you got to take care of?" He's like, "I got to set up my utilities for my new place." And dude goes for like, it's like an hour. And he's like on the computer setting up his utilities. I'm like, "Brother, I'm like, you got to do this tonight? Like, we got to get up in the morning."
dude.
Dude, my move-in
And
day,
he's like, "Yes, I have to do it tonight."
today is July 8th. My move-in day is July 10th. We work July 9th. I get back July 9th at night. So July
No,
10th.
I get it.
My guy
Yeah.
has been stressing
I've
about
been-
life recently. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, late for our flight. Like, gotta freaking
Name
leave
misspelled
tomorrow.
on the ticket.
Yeah, Damon and
Thanks
I
to our GM.
Damon
Yeah.
and I get to the TSA. We're running. We have like what, probably less than 20 minutes until our flight
Yeah.
starts at this point. We get to TSA.
Still got 2 beers in.
The guy,
in case anyone was
he
wondering.
gets my-
We thought he could get 3, but he couldn't.
yeah, the line was 2.5, and the underbetters just boom. Anyway,
It was actually pretty disappointing.
we get to TSA, and the guy takes my passport. He scans my passport, and he looks at me, and I'm like, "Hello." And he looks at me again. He's like, "Let me try it again." He scans it, and he's like, "There's a problem here. You need to go downstairs. Your name is misspelled." I'm like, "Man, it's misspelled." So I go all the way downstairs. Now I'm running. We have like 10 minutes. Long story short, I made it, but just in the nick of time.
Yes.
Despite the Uber driver, despite the misspelling, we made it here on time.
Evan, they're really trying to bring you down, man.
And
They
I'm
were,
so
man.
happy to be here because I could not have been here, and that's a real possibility. But we are here,
We are, in fact, here.
and I did do my utilities last night, and we are good. And Eric is a really good roommate, to be honest with you. He was quiet. He slept pretty.
It's
pretty
the
early.
only time anybody's ever described me as quiet in my entire life.
dude. Yeah, he.
I was a good roommate, though.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. a good time.
Notice how he said was. Because
Yeah,
he's
tonight
got,
I'm in for
he's
something.
got another thing coming for you tonight when it comes to, being a good / bad roommate.
I'm waking up at 3 a.m. and just screaming.
Yeah. Just right in his face.
I'm
too.
gonna wake him up like what movie was that? It was like they lied about what time it is. I'm gonna wake Kevin up at like 3 a.m. and be like, "Dude, we're late for Big 12 Media Day. Like, you got to get up, dude."
But see, what Eric doesn't know, or what he knows but hasn't seen yet, is that I am the worst grumpy morning person ever.
Yeah.
So if he does that, my likely response is like, "So I don't give up." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's the kind of conversation we're gonna have. And so I think
You were
maybe
good today, though.
I
Like,
was.
You were
and
good.
credit to Eric. Maybe never mind. But
I'm
maybe
sure Eric wakes up on full go.
No,
100%.
Yeah, Eric,
100%
Eric
job.
wakes up, hey!
I've had people look at me. One time,
6:30.
I woke up in college. I'm not a morning person, but like if I'm up, I'm getting up. And my friend's like looking at me. He's like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
He's like, you just woke up. He's like,
dog.
he's like, how are you speaking like a normal person right
Dog,
now?
my girlfriend, she's an executive pastry chef. So her job, she has to be there at 4 a.m. every morning. So she's up at like 3:30, 3 o'clock. And so on the weekend, sleeping in for her is like 9 a.m., 8 a.m. To me, that's when I wake up usually. And so
Totally.
So I wake
People
up.
look at me like
and
I'm
she's already
speaking
done-
Mandarin when I tell them I
Yes.
wake up at like 9 on a weekend.
Yeah.
They're
and,
like, oh, what are you, an adult?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
and she's like done the dishes. She's started her day. She's knocked things off her to-do list. I wake up and she's like, "Oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do this?" And I'm like, "I'm not a human yet. Can I become a human?" Eric, I was worried. This is what I'm getting at. I was worried that he was going to be on full go and that
Yeah.
I was going to be on full no, and it was going to clash
Yeah.
because he woke me up and the first thing out of his mind was, "Hey, it's six so and so. We got Big 12 Media Day. Just wanted to let you know." And then he goes to the bathroom and he showers. He comes back out. He's like asking questions. I don't remember what they were. They were like 2 small questions. But after the second one, I was worried. I was like, "Is he about to talk my ear off for like the next 30 minutes?" And credit to Eric, good guy, had some feel, realized I was not a human being yet, and just
I
kind of
just don't enjoy talking to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just decided
a
enough
little-
was enough.
Oh,
Likewise,
facts.
brother.
My boy Damon was there yapping it up. No, I'm just happy that you guys didn't get woken up by a Psychos and Sickos Unite for a Bradley Field buyout emergency podcast.
My guy Kevin, for those of you a little inside baseball, he's a sweet man at his core. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. When you first get him in the morning in the office, he is just a completely different person than the Kevin that we've all come to know and love. He sits there in complete and utter silence and speaks to nobody. And so, yeah, on a trip like this, it is somewhat of a concern, but sounds like things went great. Sounds like maybe Eric's energy even like kind of got you.
Infectious.
Yeah.
We were first to the lobby. I had time to gather my thoughts and wait for our guys to get down there. 10 minutes late, it was a good time.
So, okay, so obviously tomorrow we're going to be talking to Noah Fifita, Brent Brennan, all the crew out here. Anything else you're excited for in particular to talk to these people? Yeah, more puppies.
More mascot. No, I'm kidding. Genuinely, I'm excited to talk to Genesis Smith. I feel like he is someone that you, I, and Spears have all pinpointed as a true guy that can, I mean, clearly because he's being underrated, shock a lot of people coming into this year.
For sure.
I'm excited. I'm interested in his mindset. I'm interested in Brent Brennan's mindset. We've already got a little bit into that, but we're here at Media Day. It's starting to get real now. You've got in a bunch of recruits. All your hires look really good. This is not the same context that he had in months past when he's spoken to us. So I'm interested to see where his head is at, interested to see where Genesis Smith's head is at. And obviously we got QB1 coming on the show. So that's always a big deal. So make sure to tap in with us.
It feels like very much so that they were like putting duct tape on the bottom of a boat last year with like in each hole that would fill, they'd be like pop, pop, pop. And this year it felt like they were just like, let's just order some Flex Seal. Let's just spray that bottom of that boat, throw it on the lake, and you know, it's gonna stay afloat. And like they redid it from the ground up, and you love to see it. Eric, this is not professional, but are we at our spot?
Yeah, you're in an hour.
Sounds good.
No more overtime.
We're
the AZ Wildcats podcast can't go an hour and 25 minutes.
No, it can't. Not today. Unfortunately, no long episode.
Impact Big 12 football meeting.
And we're going to be talking about that live with Noah Fifita tomorrow on set. So make sure you guys are all here. We're going to give you the Coapete news and notes because you know that's what we're talking about out here at Big 12 Media Day. We got Mountaineer Mike.
There's the guy that Eric said is literally just
the West Virginia mascot over here. He's kind of staring me down. He's giving
us a salute.
Yeah, he's giving me a salute. I thought he was scouting me for a half second.
Yeah, we're going into overtime for this.
Before we get out of here, what is going on?
This is important stuff.
All right.
This is important stuff, man.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, we had our mascot on, and he couldn't talk, but he did give some crazy predictions.
You want to throw that guy on?
Yeah.
You put that over the...
Is that allowed?
Oh, yeah.
Do they have technology like that where you're from? There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, can I ask a question? How does it feel to be the only mascot who's allowed to speak?
I think it's like the coolest thing ever, but also kind of crazy. I got to learn a new language because they're tapping me on the shoulder, and half the time I'm like, what's going on? So Big J wanted to film a TikTok where he was doing the trend, and he's sitting there rolling hands, and I'm like, what's going on? Like... And I figured it out though.
So there's a bit of a language barrier between you and some of your other mascot contemporaries. How do you deal with that?
It's kind of like kids.
Yeah.
Like thumbs up is the greatest tool you can have for those
sure.
guys. Like you just like give them a head nod or a thumbs up or just throw out a fist bump. Like that's bare minimum the easiest. Or maybe a little sound effect like a They can hear, but they just can't talk. So.
Yeah, totally. I see. I mean, we got leathered out today.
Oh,
you got
That's incredible.
You put it on. I mean, well, tell us about your fit.
Yeah, these are the buckskins. We don them. It's been a tradition. I'm the 71st Mountaineer, so been doing it for a long time, and it's part of what our history was as people from West Virginia, as people that just lived in the mountains. That's what they wore, I guess. So we wear the buckskins. We got a real musket on us at all.
You wear that on campus?
It ends up being like that just because we do so many appearances.
Yeah, true.
A lot of these mascot squads got a lot of people sharing the role, but it's just me. So we travel. I've done 110 something appearances in 3 months. So I'm everywhere. So it's not really time to get out of them.
Hell yeah.
While we have you on the show, you mentioned you're the 71st Mountaineer. Also, do I make eye contact with you or the raccoon?
Either one. Racky's a cool guy.
Racky? How you doing, Racky?
I like
you
that.
said you're the
Racky
71st.
Bobby, little kids don't know, but it's fun.
You said you're the 71st Mountaineer.
Yeah.
Like, how significant is that to you?
It's the biggest thing that biggest honor I've had, and it's probably going to be the biggest honor I hold until have kids, something like that massive, because West Virginia University is the only university I think in the country that actually services the entire state. So we have 55 counties. We have an office in every single county that is WVU, where the community has events. We do 4-H camps. We do energy expresses where we feed kids if they can't, and we service every single county. So I don't know about any other schools that have offices in literally every county. Plus, chances are, born in West Virginia, you were born in a West Virginia hospital. WVU services the entire state in that way. So my parents met at WVU. My sister goes to WVU. it's like I never thought about doing it until like it just felt like it was natural once I decided to, because they make our state.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And last question, fun one. You got to have a nice beard to be the mountaineer?
No, you don't.
Really?
You just got to have a love for the state and respect
Really?
for the position.
They're letting the clean shaven
Yeah.
little boys that can't grow a beard be the mountain man.
Yeah, of course. It's for the love of the state. I mean, you're gonna tell a kid that grew up watching Tavon Austin,
Yeah.
Geno Smith,
Yeah.
all those guys. Pat White. Watch the throwbacks. We're watching Pat White, Steve Slayton. You're gonna tell those kids they can't represent because they can't grow a beard. You guys have seen the Tavon Austin tape.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, of course.
Literally the best.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna tell somebody no because they can't grow a beard.
I meant more in your role though.
No, we've had my
Would
freshman
Tavon
year.
Austin be putting that on? And
I think Tavon Austin would be
he might-
electric. In
yeah,
this
he would be
position.
electric.
Like name one thing
Call
he
him out.
wasn't
Let's make it a challenge.
Doing anything.
Name one thing he wasn't electric at.
True. That's a good point. He is
Orange
Mr. Electric.
Bowl.
Yeah.
70 points, on the old Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, man. We appreciate you.
That was
Nice to meet you
Good
guys.
meeting you. Good learning a little bit of
71st
West Virginia
Mountaineer.
history. The 71st Mountaineer in West Virginia history. No, you're good, man.
No, you're all
You got a
good.
lot of equipment and
Yeah,
stuff.
you got a lot of stuff going on over there.
Well, that was a well
show.
worth it little trip into overtime here to talk to our guy. What's that mascot's name? I wish I knew all of them.
The 71st
I think he's
Mountaineer.
just the Mountaineer.
Is
I
it?
think he's the Mountaineer.
He did say he was just the 71st Mountaineer. And so I think if he was the 71st, like John W.
John the
Scott,
Mountaineer.
I think he would have said, I'm the 71st JWS. You know what I mean?
John W. Scott. That's the new name of the West Virginia Mountaineer. But yeah, that's going to do it for us today out here in Frisco, day one at Big 12 Media Day. We appreciate everybody rocking with us. It was a great time. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit more focused on trying to get the people in the building that will be here. But, it's great vibes out here at day one. And you never know who you're going to have on set. We got Justin Spears, Wilbur Wildcat, of course, and the Mountaineer. But we'll be talking, to a little bit more media members around here and hopefully airing content out throughout the rest of the week. So appreciate everybody. Follow us at PHNX_Wildcats on Twitter. Follow my guy Kevin at KevoPosts, KEVOPOSTS. Follow me at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. And of course,
No, don't do it. I already got to live with him right now. Don't do it.
maybe just go in Eric Ruby's mentions and
Yeah, give him some engagement.
give
at
him
least.
some shtick.
Do
Yeah.
with that call out what you will. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's going to do it for us on the AZ Wildcats podcast today. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m., I believe, Texas time, which makes it
12? No.
yes,
12. Yes.
12 p.m. AZ time tomorrow for all you folks at home. We appreciate everybody for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Bear down.
And go Cats. Shout out to Wilbur the Wildcat. What's going on with Wilma? I don't know.
We all silly like the mayor.